Hi guys, welcome to this next preview. It's Harrogate for the Mariners next, and I'm here to preview it, and I will give you all the stats and thoughts heading into the game. Like I said, there isn't a lot to go on at the moment due to the fact of the season has only just started, but I'm going to give you the ins and outs of the game and my thoughts, obviously, and all sorts of stats I can give you, and my prediction at the end of the video, and then it'll be down to you guys to let me know what you think. So, let's get on with it. As we host, we don't host Harrogate, so we go to Harrogate on Saturday after both teams coming away with a win on the opening day. Obviously, Grimsby winning 3-0 at home to Crawley, and Harrogate getting what you would class as a surprise result, but in my eyes not really, as to the way they set up and the way they play, with a 1-0 win away at Bristol Rovers. Now obviously Harrogate, a very family run club, literally as the Weavers are in charge. Weaver Senior is in charge, and Simon Weaver, his son, of course, is in charge of the first team and has been, I think, for nigh on 17, 18 years, or feels like that for Simon. But like I said, they're a very, very difficult team. Their overall form in the last 5 games, just generally, has been 3 wins out of the last 5, 2 draws in the middle of that, and Town's form has been 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat. That defeat came against Wimbledon. If we look at a bit of the overall head-to-head summary, in the last 10 games, it doesn't read great for the Mariners. In the last 10 matches between the two sides, Harrogate have got a 5-2 winning head-to-head ratio. There's been 3 draws in the middle of that, and a goal ratio of 15 goals to 14 in Harrogate's favour. That's 1.4 goals scored and 1.5 goals against throughout the entire history of playing Harrogate. And this is sort of like how dominant that Harrogate have been against Grimsby. That equates to 50% of the games, obviously, between the two. Harrogate have won. 20%, only 2 victories, like I said, for Grimsby Town, and obviously 30% is draws. So in that regard, Harrogate can look very, very, very pleased with themselves. If we look at the last 4 results between the two sides, Harrogate will go back actually to 2023 when we played them in December of 2023. They came away with a 2-1 win from Blundell Park, and Harrogate also got a 1-0 win in the April of 2024. And like I said, Harrogate may not score loads, but they're so well organised under Simon Weaver. Last season started with Boxing Day when we played Harrogate at Blundell Park. That is the only one of 2 times we've ever beaten Harrogate Town. 2-1 at Blundell Park, but Harrogate did get a 2-2 draw even after that Kieran Green absolute belter, I believe better than David Beckham's, or definitely further out than David Beckham's goal back in 95 against Wimbledon. But what a goal that was, what a screamer. But it wasn't enough to see us over the line against Harrogate, and I always say that was the result that cost us a playoff place because we were 2-0 up at half time in that game. And to not come away with the 3 points from being 2-0 up, it kind of showed that, like I said, I don't believe we were ready for the playoffs. And, to throw a 2-goal lead away. But Harrogate had been in very, very good form going into that. And the only other time that we beat Harrogate was the very first time we played Harrogate Town, back in 2015, when we ended up in an FA Cup tie with a 4-1 win. Is the only other time that we've actually come away with a win against Harrogate. So, 2 wins in 10, and very well organised. They haven't got a lot of. They've got a couple of first team players out, Harrogate, but obviously, as we know, they've got a few former Mariners that are surely going to want to cause a little bit of issue. Most recently, Lewis Kess, Ben Fox joined them last year, as did Bryn. As I call him, Boot Rocket Morris. He always seems to score a screamer wherever he goes, Bryn. So, so we've got, a few stories there of former Mariners that play for Harrogate and may be involved tomorrow as well. And but they've got a solid squad this year. They really do. I know I put them down in the bottom 5 or 6, but I was never going to put them down to go down. I think Simon Weaver has started play, may not always be the prettiest. It works with them having a very, very tight pitch, but I do think that it is going to be it's going to be a real tough fixture to try and navigate. Because, like I said, after their win over Bristol Rovers, surprise, you would say that on stature of the sides, but very well drilled in League Two. They're not they're not pushovers, and David Artell knows that because David did mention that in his pre-match with the club and as well with Matt Dean of Humberside that they're very, very well oiled League Two side. Are they going to pull up any trees? Not necessarily. But have they got players with good experience? Have they got players that you can't underestimate? Yes, and I honestly think it's going to be one of those difficult games. And Harrogate are one of those teams that if you do not show them a level of respect, you will get found out by them. Because Simon Weaver has them well and truly drilled. If we look at betting, just before we go into business for Grimsby, if you fancy a flutter on this, you can get Harrogate at 2-1. The draw is 23-10 at some places, and you can get the Mariners at 5-4. That would make the Mariners just narrow favourites, but not odds-on favourites, I wouldn't say. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. It's a very difficult place to go, and like I said, it's a team that you have to respect. You really do have to respect. I'm not going to talk about the league table, only as to say we're top of the league. But like I said, a couple of teams played before us, so that will obviously could change as Salford play Notts County, and so if Notts win, they could go above us temporarily. But I think, very, very difficult game. If we look at the team news for town, Artell was being quite coy in regards to incomings. They're always on the lookout, which is, you would honestly expect that. Could there be a chance of somebody else returning? Yes, I wonder who that may possibly be. He's not saying who, and I understand why he doesn't. I understood Matt Dean's questioning on that. Not maybe positioning is what he was going for, but again, I think he wouldn't want Harrogate to find out, because they could find out. Obviously, there is a way. So it was more like a belief of how good last week was. There was talk about Matty Carson. He hasn't gone yet, but that seems to be heading somewhere. Not exactly sure where. Could it be Harrogate even? Wouldn't surprise me. But Artel did say he might have to drop down to come back. Who knows? We'll see where Matty Carson does eventually end up. He does have another month to get a deal away done. I did respect what David Artel said about things like that, when he says he won't stand in a player's way. What he's saying is he cannot guarantee Matty Carson first team football, and I think if Matty can go and get it somewhere else, and I think the club are like this at the minute. We don't want players unhappy here. We don't want them to feel like they've got, and if they don't have a strong chance of first team football, why not let them get out and get some games, or have a career somewhere else if at the minute it's not the right fit for the club or the player. So we'll keep an eye on what Matty Carson does. I wonder if the return might be Danny Rose. It might not be, but it might be. But we'll have to wait and see come 3 o'clock on Saturday as to what we do. But I have to admit, you always get this kind of feeling, when you win, and sort of like as dominant as we did. I think a lot of us are going to expect us to probably be as dominant again. I am going to play devil's advocate here and go, we probably might not play that way too many times, or there are going to be times where we don't play that well. It's also, can we grapple out results when we're not playing so well? But this will be proof of it, this one, because this is not going to be an easy game. But obviously with people like Jay's in the side, and if Chaz plays the way that he did last week as well, you never ever know. But I think obviously it's all positive right now at the Mariners, and I've got to say, still looking at the league table going, Grimsby top of the table, eh? Wow. But no, it's good to see, and it's good to get a tricky little test like Harrogate early on in the season, because we know how well drilled they are. If you're gonna ask me for a prediction, which you guys obviously want to find out what I think, it's going to be a difficult game, this. I'm going to go for the Mariners to go back-to-back. I don't see this one being easy. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I was wondering, do I go 2-1? Do I go 2-0? Do I go 2-2? I'm going to go 2-0, but like I said, Harrogate are very well drilled. It wouldn't surprise me, but 2-0 for me. Who do I think will get the goals? Well, it depends on who's probably up front, but obviously people are going to say, and rightly so at the minute, if he's fit, I'm going to go Jace Kabaya and Danny Rose. If not, I think I might go. If Rosie isn't available, that is. But if Rosie isn't, I'll go for Jays, and I will also go for Jaden Sweeney. And the reason why is I saw him sort of get a goal in pre-season. I don't see why that can't happen. So I'm saying that 2-0 win, but you never know, because Harrogate are, like I said, a very, very tricky team. So if you are going to Harrogate, we have sold out Harrogate's away end, so it will be rocking over there. If you are going Safe Journey, I won't be there this week, unfortunately, for that game. But I think both towns are in a good place, to be fair. And like I said, this is a team that we cannot underestimate. But no, if we turn up and play anywhere near the way we did against Crawley, it could be a goal fest. You never know. So I'm saying 2-1. So leave your predictions down below. Let me know what you think will happen on Saturday as the Mariners head on the road for the first time this season against a very well drilled, very organised Harrogate Town. Leave your thoughts down below. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you all with a review of the game. Anything breaks transfer wise, keep on this channel as well. And next week I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're going to do with the lives heading up in September, and hopefully maybe a couple of collabs coming up with my American friend. But in the meantime, that is me done about this because we've rambled on for about 17 minutes. And but I will see you guys in a review of the Harrogate game on Saturday night. But in the meantime, guys, up the Mariners. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Say how good I've been so far. Say how bad I've been so far. Say how good the team's been so far. Give us, the usual, not so promising if you need to. But I will see you guys in the next one. Up the Mariners. First trip away. Let's see what happens. I'll see you guys in the next. Ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.